Welcome to In the Calm. I'm your host, Georgiana Alexander. Welcome to season 2 of In the Calm. I am so incredibly excited about this season. I don't want to blow your eardrums out, but otherwise just know I'm screaming on the inside. We're doing happy dances and cheering. I feel like this season has been a long time coming. It hasn't been that long, but it feels like it because I've been so excited to see this come to life, get back onto the podcast, and really provide all of the conversations that I've been privileged to get to have with so many incredible guests and behind the scenes with each of you, and really bring that forward and get to share that in the community. So we did it. We're here. We are back for season 2. And I cannot tell you the love that has gone into making this season. We are going to get to that in just a little bit. I really just wanted to hop on and in the first episode back, connect and share about life and what's been going on and say hello. I'm not always the best at remembering to share the behind the scenes or what's going on when I'm in the middle of a lot of changes or transitions. I tend to kind of go into my focus and creative bubble and disconnect from everything else that's not that. I know you guys have seen me pop in and out. We've had conversation, saying hi and everything here and there. But for the most part, I've been on such a mission to really overhaul so much of where things were, because I really saw a gap in where I was and what I wanted to be putting out there for you guys and sharing in this community. I honestly love it when creators I love or businesses and friends share their process. It's like it removes the curtain and feels deeply validating somehow in my own process. I was recently having a conversation with a friend about that, where we'd both been in our focus bubbles, working so hard on new things. And when you're in the middle of that space, you just kind of feel a little bit isolated, and you feel like, I don't know, this is my gut, this is what I know I need to be doing. But maybe in that case, in my case, and in her case, it was really against the norm of what everything else in the world tells you should be doing in creating a business. And that's kind of what I went into, and where she had gone. And we were just both kind of looking at each other like, I don't know, feels right to me, feels right to me. On the other side of it, it is so right. And it just goes back to speaking to that you have to tune into your own intuition, and you have to show up in the way in the world that you feel led to, because ultimately that is what is going to move things forward in your own life. Anyway, I'm going on a total tangent. I could rant about that one forever. We're going to get into that in a little bit as well. So for what's been going on, what's new now? Well, for starters, we have a new website, Chaos and Calm. The whole new rebrand is complete. We've got way more resources. I went all in, redesigned the website, redesigned the user experience, and to be honest, I redesigned everything. Went in and completely redesigned the merch, and it's basically my new wardrobe. I know you guys are going to be as obsessed with this as I am, but honestly, I love it so much that if I'm the only one that's like into that, geeking out on it, I am fully okay with that, because I freaking love it. And it's been so much fun to really think about what would be fun, what really goes with the vibe of the community, and putting these things together. Revamped the blog, so there's going to be so much more creation happening on that for you, and really launch that. So I am so excited for you guys to see this. We're going to have more in real life events. And guess what? Elevate the Community is finally coming. Make sure you sign up on the newsletter to get on the list. That is happening super soon. I'm opening the doors for Elevate. We're going to be connecting in community and going to be doing workshops and bringing in other guests and experts to do workshops, as well as just so many tools for growth and empowerment, embodiment, transformation, all of the things. And I worked really hard on this amazing platform to where it's very community driven. So there's so many ways for us to connect and really hang out off of Facebook and off of some of the other community platforms. I'm revamping all of the courses and trainings and working on so much more for you guys. I honestly cannot wait for you to see. You've reached out, we've been in conversation, you've shared your struggles and everything going on, or where you're feeling like that you wish you had more support. And I've listened. And so I'm been working on creating solutions that I wish I had had on my journey. And it sounds like you guys are needing and wanting in your lives, all around rituals and up-leveling and stepping more deeply into your empowerment and into your intuition and finding your community or understanding how to manifest and really create the life that you're craving, creating a heart-connected business and growth and scaling resources, just more ways to connect in your community from a really organic place. And so I've been working on that. I took that to heart. I really put in all that consideration into everything that I've been building and working on for this community. And I cannot wait for you to get to see all of those components. So, okay, that's all happening now. I'm going to put in the show notes all the links that you can sign up. Definitely make sure that you're on the newsletter to get the first announcement of when the programs and Elevate the Community open up, because there's going to be some special offers in there. I don't want you guys to miss out. All right, so I really want to also share in this behind the scenes and first episode back why in the midst of all this creation, I went on a social media and podcast sabbatical. I think that this is something really cool to talk about because you guys know I'm a 3-5 projector in human design, which, by the way, we're going to get into so much more in depth in this next season. And can't wait for that also. If you can't tell, I'm super excited. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. To be honest, it wasn't a clear decision to take a break. It was more so really tuning into what my system needed, like an energy strategy to be able to fully put my focus and energy into creating and producing all that I was building, and to also have time for my own self-care, wellness, and time for working with my coaching clients. So it really wasn't intentional for me to be off social media this long or away from the podcast. But that's kind of the thing, you guys, is like when we're needing to make big changes or when we have different things going on in our lives, it's okay to take a break and to take what we need in the time that we need it for our own self-care, for huge transformations, for really revamping things in our lives. That's normal. And I think a lot of times in our hustle culture, or if you have an online business or some business that's visible, it really gets this overarching commentary that no, you have to be online constantly. It has to look like this. And I just fully disagree with that. I think there's a time and a season for everything. And when it comes to needing to take care of yourself or give yourself time and space to heal, process, or up level, there are some times where before the major up levels, you kind of have to go in a dip and like go into that focus and really get the growth and the expansion that you're needing, and then take that really big leap. So that's where I was. Energetic and magnetic growth strategies. This is something I'm really excited to dive into more with you guys this season. We are going to go deep, more about soul and heart-centered growth versus how things look. I'm all for visible growth. I'm all for huge leaps and things looking amazing. I've had those experiences. I love that feeling of just this huge success and these big manifestations. You can be hugely successful business, incredible life, and have little or no social media presence. Or on the other side of that, you can have a huge social media presence and have zero life or business. And so sometimes things look different than we expect them to, and they're actually better for what we're needing in that time. And that's kind of the place that I've been. So again, I kind of went off on a little bit of a tangent there, but that is an area I'm really excited to get into more. And neither are right or wrong. It really comes down to what feels best for you and what works for your life and goals. And for me, during this time period, it was not easy to step back, to make the decision to say, even though everything I'm working on has started to create momentum and there's a lot happening, I knew intuitively, I knew from my instinct of building companies that there were some areas that I was really hitting some bottlenecks within the structuring of the company. And so I needed to just take a step back, and I wanted to really feel inspired to create what I had envisioned. And that meant overhauling a lot of systems and foundations and repackaging things in a way that felt in more alignment. And so kind of throwing out a lot of time spent and having to learn to be okay with that, that my instinct for timing has never been wrong. And you may not have that track record to lean back in to in your own lives, but we're going to get into that a lot more this season and in our community where you've got a lot more of that instinct than you realize you probably have. It's really in the subtleties that you're getting this information. I know for me, even I have had a lifetime of experience with intuition and those instincts and having really loud experiences, as you guys know, with my near-death experiences, where you would think I would have gotten the message and really just pay attention to every instinct that comes my way. But the truth is there's sometimes these instincts and intuitions that are very subtle. And it's almost like for me, I've categorized like, well, okay, if I'm about to go off the cliff, I will maybe listen to the really loud, really huge intuition that's coming my way. But if it's over here in my business and it's really subtle, or it's about a person I meet, or it's just something as small as like what I'm going to eat for dinner, it's those subtle instincts that are really informing what's right for us. And it's not really a right or wrong, but it's like based on what it is that we want our life, what we're saying we want to create. And then in aligning to that, we're informing that decision, and our intuition is guiding us to help us create a more effective, more in sync, more in flow pathway. And yeah, we're not listening. And even though I have so much background in this and experience, and I help others with this, it's not always easy when you're the one in the seat. So I just wanted to share that with you, that I definitely hit some places of pause and of resistance, even in this process where I really had to come back into learning how to get out of my own way, how to disconnect from a lot of like this fake pressure. And I say fake pressure because it wasn't really my pressure. I knew in my gut, I knew exactly what I wanted to create. I knew that it doesn't matter to me the time that it takes to build and create something that I have in my mind to create. It really is about the outcome of what that looks like and what it means for showing up for others. So that's the intention, and that's what has had higher priority than just, I guess, subscribing to this societal or conditioned pressure that I need to push and finish sooner to achieve the goal sooner, in a way that honestly would not have it all been as beautiful or magical as this process has been in this creation and in getting everything ready to relaunch. It just wouldn't have produced the outcome that I had the vision to create. And there were so many times during this process where I know any of you who have created something or birthed something or just wanted to start something new. It's like, no matter how many times you start the new thing or the birthing process, it's kind of on the front end of that, you get a lot of clarity about what that experience is going to look like. And then when you're in the middle of it, you get completely lost and you're like, oh my gosh, maybe I should do it this way. Or you doubt yourself, or you give yourself so much crap for not pushing through in areas that conditioning wise, society wise would tell us, hey, this is how you're supposed to do it. But in our instinct and our soul and our heart, we want to try a different way. And that has been the gift that this sort of disconnect time period has been for me, is really, really honing into those areas that I have done this before, but it was so instinctual. It wasn't as tangible because it was so instinctual before. It's not like you're necessarily tuned into the things that you're doing. And in this case, I was step by step tuning in. And I think that was really important because that way I get to share more about the experience with everyone else as well. So anyway, that's a little bit about behind the scenes of what has been going on in my world and why I took a break. And I just feel like it's really important to have the conversation, that we take the time that we need to, that we're trusting our bodies, trusting our instincts, and again, stepping away from this hyper hustle culture where you have to post a million times a day to be an online business owner. Just the pressure that it has to look a certain way. I just really, really don't believe that. I've seen so many different experiences in my own life where it really does come down to letting yourself light up, trusting in your intuition, and allowing that magnetism to actually draw in the right clients, to draw in the right opportunities. And again, that's something that I'm excited to get deeper into with you guys with human design. There's so much strategy behind human design that gives you kind of cues of how to best attract your ideal clients or lifestyle. That kind of thing is going to be super juicy and good for you. So we're going to get more into that this season as well. So this time period of creation has just been major surrender going through this process. And I just feel like, if I were going to name it, this is the time period of life of really showing up in my alignment. And if I were really super cool, I would call this my alignment era. It's all about deeply aligning to what feels best in my body, listening and trusting to my instincts, even the really subtle ones. This, again, even though it's something that I've had so much practice with and awareness in life with as a seer and intuitive, it can get brushed aside. So I just want you to take that in, because I know so many of you guys have reached out and said, I really want to connect in with my intuition, or I don't know, I feel like I'm missing the mark on this. And it doesn't necessarily matter how much experience you have with your instincts and intuition. There's always these moments in our lives where we kind of brush that instinct aside or get engaged with things in our culture that maybe disconnect us, which is why it's so incredible to take the time and practice awareness and come back to the areas of our life that help us really move in the way that we're meant to move. This takes the pressure off. It's like an overarching how we think things should be, to really tuning back into what we know things are within ourselves. And sometimes that knowing is so, so subtle, but it really is true in every area of life. And so really allowing alignment more, that's what I'm showing up for. It doesn't necessarily mean that I wasn't aligned before. It's about allowing space and room in life to evolve and redefine itself again and again and again, even if it's just in the smallest of ways. So this time period has been a combination of really intense focus on getting things ready for you guys, and really deep alignment of what my soul and my intuition was yearning to create in this next chapter. So with that, what are you going to see in season 2? Well, I've kind of given you a couple of hints. I know. Can we say it one more time? We're so freaking excited. Anyway, we're going to deeper dive into intuition. Obviously, that is, I would say, the number one thing that you guys have talked about is wanting to find new ways to connect in with intuition. And you're not going to be disappointed. We're going to have so many amazing conversations about applying intuition in life, business, health, helping work through our shadow healing and embodiment practices. We've got so many incredible guests coming on that share their intuition and their experiences. I think you're going to find so much inspiration and wisdom in these conversations. I know I have during the time that we have gotten to have all the conversations with the guests. I'm not going to give away anybody yet, but it's coming soon. We're going to be diving more into business hacks and tips, health and wellness. And again, just so many incredible guests coming onto the show. You're going to be blown away. There's so many more conversations this season about quantum living, what that means, looking at potentialities and where the possibilities are, and really diving more into tapping into the unseen of life and the wisdoms of life, and really connecting back in with our true nature and calling, while also living a really cool, fun Luxe life in our modern day-to-day world. We're going to also get into more with Luxe clean lifestyle, holistic living tips. I know so many of you guys have been asking about this as well. So if there's anything else that you're just like, I really want to learn about this, reach out and connect and send me a DM and let's talk about it. I'm always open to sharing more about the stories. That's another thing we're going to talk about, is I'm going to share more of my stories and experiences, the things that many of you may not know about me. In next week's episode, I don't want to spill the beans too much, but I'm going to be diving deep into a number of my stories and going to be asked some questions that oftentimes I don't get asked about. I'm going to share more of that kind of my life journey stories that I know a lot of you guys have been like, well, what did you do during this time? So that's the thing I love listening to with people, is how they do things or how it felt when they were experiencing things, or looking at their intuitive background and their life and business, or where the pieces connected, and also looking at that through the lens of human design or health and wellness, just embodiment of the life and lifestyles that are really, really deeply calling. So that is where we are headed, my friends. I am so glad that you guys are here for the journey. I had no idea when I started season 1 that I would love this so much and that would connect so many of us in community, and I have missed it. I've missed you all. I'm so glad I've gotten to hang out with you guys in the DMs and in email and in person. And I'm just really, really excited to build deeper relationships and have more amazing conversations, and for us to share our stories, because there's so much empowerment and wisdom when we bring our collective experiences together. I cannot wait to see you. Check out all the show notes for all of the news and updates. Make sure you get on the newsletter so that way you don't miss out on any of the specials coming your way, as well as we've got so many great codes with our guests that you guys can check out as well. So get on the list, and I will see you soon. Sending you all my love.